Ahoy, hoy, and welcome to this week's episode of the DCL Show, the show where we try to help you navigate the waters of Disney Cruise Line. I am your captain, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by my co-captains, including the one and only Dreams Unlimited travel agent, Elaine Edwards.
Hi, friends.
I guess I should clarify. She's not the only Dreams Unlimited travel agent. There's like 40 of them. There's a lot. She's the one and only currently on this week's episode of the DCL Show, I should say. And then we also have senior editor for DCLfan.com and the DIS, Jackie Gailey.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. I hope everyone is having a great week, and I hope you're excited to listen to us talk about Disney Cruise Line because, of course, there's been a very exciting update, and that is summer 2025 itineraries have been revealed, and on top of that, too, booking begins very soon, and Start listening to everything we have to say here. Start looking at the different itineraries. Get your plans in because you're going to want to book these cruises as early as possible so you can lock in the best price, which I'm sure Elaine's going to repeat again later on in this episode. But before we get to it, I want to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content, you want to support us, please book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. That keeps all the lights on here. It costs you no extra money, and you get the support of one of the incredible Dreams Unlimited travel agents. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today for a free, no obligation quote. And you can also support us by joining our Patreon and getting exclusive DIS team content. So you can get more information over at patreon.com/DIS Unlimited. Now, I do want to start off by saying one thing before we really jump into DCL info here, and that is we are always trying to stay up to date with everything that Disney Cruise Line is doing. I know we try to cruise as often as we can, and a lot of times when we are cruising, it's for very specific work purposes, not necessarily vacations. So we are not the typical cruisers, and sometimes we don't get things right. And we also appreciate you letting us know when we don't get things right. We'd love to be able to correct them for the future. So, I can stop saying stuff about the buffet for dinner time and just blanketing cabanas and sounding like we're giving misinformation here and there. If there's anything that you're ever unsure about, think that we're making a mistake, please reach out and let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, first off, hit the thumbs up. But you can always leave corrections and then suggestions for different topics in the comments section. And if you listen to this as an audio podcast, head over to disboards.com and let us know over there in the podcast section. You can always email us. Just get in touch with us so we know, so we can produce the best show for you. But with that being said, we're going to move on to those summer 2025 itineraries. And, it's exciting from the fact that we have a brand new round of cruises that we're able to book. But from our inspection, at least that Elaine, Jackie, and myself did, no new ports or anything like jumping out like, crazy amazing in that way, but still exciting nonetheless. Like I'm sure you're excited, Elaine. You're ready to work very hard for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. It was funny because I keep a wait list for future releases, and my wait list email that I sent out yesterday basically said, the next 2 weeks, my email inbox is going to be bonkers. So help me help you. So anyways, we are excited that it's here. Everybody's been waiting for it. We kind of knew it was either going to be this week or next week because that follows the pattern of what they've done the last several years. Like Craig said, no new ports, and even no new ports that they're sailing out of. And they've also gotten rid of a few the last couple releases. We have more ships, but we're sailing out of less like home ports. So we don't have anything going out of Miami. We don't have anything going out of New Orleans. We don't have anything going out of New York. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I think that it's great, like with the cruises that are going out of Florida, at least, we do have that Fort Lauderdale option and always Port Canaveral. But as we'll talk here, going out of Port Canaveral for the summer, you basically have the Disney Magic, you have the Disney Treasure, and Disney Wish. So lots of different options, especially with the Magic, because there might be a random one-off 10-night Eastern Caribbean cruise, but then it'll be sailing a complete different, shorter cruise going to the Bahamas. It's kind of all over the place. The Disney Magic is turning into, it's the oldest ship, and it's turning into kind of like the weird mutt of DCL, where it's going wherever the wind wants to blow it. And I'm completely okay with that. And why don't we break down, before I start asking questions here, we'll break down where these cruises are actually going for summer 2025 out of the Caribbean, going into the Caribbean, I should say. You have the Disney Dream sailing out of Fort Lauderdale. You have the Disney Treasure sailing those 7-night cruises out of Port Canaveral. And you have the Disney Magic doing one cruise out of Port Canaveral going to the Caribbean. For Bahamian cruises, you have the Disney Dream going out of Fort Lauderdale. You have the Disney Wish sailing out of Port Canaveral. You have the Disney Magic sailing out of Port Canaveral. Great stuff. And then for Alaska, which is always big, we got to part 1 of our Alaska series and had to put a pause on part 2 right now because this is a little bit more important. We'll pick right back up on that. So you book your Alaska cruises after watching or listening to this, and then you get to hear all of our recommendations for what to do in the ports coming up here. But the Disney Wonder is sailing back out of Alaska, and I have a couple things I want to bring up with that. And the Disney Fantasy is bringing fantasy all the way over to Europe with the Mediterranean cruises, the Northern Europe cruises, Western Europe, and, the only way you can get there is by crossing the Atlantic. So a spicy transatlantic cruise with that. And that's summer 2025. And I know you're screaming right now, well, when do I book it? Well, first off, even though you're a DCL fan, you should already know these dates. They should have been marked on your calendar as soon as it came out. This should be old news for you. If it's not, Pearl Castaway Club members will be able to begin booking Monday, March 18th, with Platinum Castaway Club members and Golden Oak Club members following on Tuesday, March 19th. Gold Castaway Club members will follow on Wednesday, March 20th, with Silver Castaway Club members, Disney Vacation Club members, and Adventure Insiders following on Thursday, March 21st. And finally, that general public, your first time at DCL cruisers, are coming in on Friday, March 22nd, to start eating up these brand new cruises. And that is it in a hat, and maybe even more. So I'm going to pose my first question to the group. I know we've looked up and down these itineraries. Jackie, I'm going to ask you first. Is there one specific cruise for summer 2025 that you're looking at that you're like, oh, if I had the time off, if I had unlimited funds, this would be the one I'm doing?
Yeah, so there is, as a matter of fact, there's the one on the Magic. So I happen to be, I'm like, the Magic is the only Disney ship that I haven't been on. So, and for the last several years, I've been trying to work out a way to fly to a destination and then get on the Magic. So the Magic has and I've completely lost it, and I don't know why, but I'm going
to... Is it August 4th? August 4th, it goes to Castaway Key, Lookout Key, and a day at sea with no Nassau.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to get at too. So I figured it was.
I couldn't remember the date of it. Yeah, that's the exact one. And I want it, and I want it really bad because, like I've told you guys before, that's the one thing I miss about living in Florida is being able to drive that couple of hours down to the port. And so if we're going to fly across the country to go on a cruise out of Port Canaveral, I want to visit both those islands because Castaway Key is near and dear to my heart, but I have to see Lighthouse Point. There's no way I cannot. And so to be on a ship that I've never been on, to go to an island that is brand new, I couldn't be more excited to do that particular specific one. Ugh.
Elaine, what about you?
I could join Jackie on that cruise and be just fine. It is no secret I like the double dip cruises, which I always say on this show that that's just my jam. And this is the new version of it. I don't even see the traditional double dips where they would hit Castaway Key twice. Have you seen any of these on the list?
The only ones that I know about on the list, or no double Castaway Key. Sorry, it's just what you said with Castaway Key and Lookout Key.
Version.
Yeah, and most of them are 5 nights, which that's why I also like that 4-night too on the Magic, because you get the best. You get that day at sea, you get both islands, and it's all in a 4-night cruise. To be fair, the Disney Dream does that a couple times, but that's out of Fort Lauderdale versus that one going out of Port Canaveral. And I will always go on the Disney Magic over any other ship. That is my favorite ship. And then beyond that, the Dream and the Magic are doing 5-night Bahamians, where you go to both of those islands. Well, then you also got to go to Nassau too. So for me, that 4-night, that's the sweet spot. I mean, I love that we all gravitated towards it, but I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case in this situation. Yeah. Like, it's going to be expensive. That one's going to, I'm sure it's going to be a big selling one.
I honestly don't think it will be.
Okay. Why?
Because it's not the draw of the summer season. The draw of the summer season is Alaska, and it's Europe, and you have a lot more people taking those 7-night cruises because kids are out of school, they can get that time off of work, that kind of thing. So these shorter cruises are honestly not the draw of the summer season. It's the other things. So I think that this is kind of the hidden gem, because I think it is hidden in the itineraries. Not a lot of people are going to see it. I personally feel like it is going to be a little less in price than what we think it will be. And I mean, that's another option too, is a lot of people are wanting to go to Lighthouse Point.
Yeah.
And if you sail out of Fort Lauderdale on the Dream to get there, it's going to be less expensive than sailing out of Port Canaveral that we've talked about before.
Yeah. I hope you're right, because I would love to get on that cruise if possible. And I'm finally going to take your advice and all of the travel agents' advice out there, because I think I've talked on the past couple shows. My wife has been dying to get back on a cruise, and we're having no luck even with cruises within a month. They're still priced so high with not even a lot of guaranteed rooms. It's tough right now to get on a cruise. So the best way to make sure you're locking in a great price is by booking as early as possible. And unfortunately, I don't have that Pearl money where I can go on that many cruises to be in the highest tier, but I'll be able to get in pretty early in the game, at least with it, and maybe we'll luck out on it. But you brought up Alaska. I think it's good to talk about Alaska and the different options that they have available this year. And breaking it down, there's one 5-night Alaskan cruise that's just frankly weird. All it does is go to Ketchikan and has the glacier viewing day with 2 days at sea. So I guess it's if you live in Seattle or Vancouver and you want the taste without the full commitment, I guess it's fine for that, but very strange.
Honestly, I have a lot of clients that do those, because Alaska is, it's expensive. There's no other way to say it. It's expensive. And this gets you there for a little less of the cost. So
yeah, I just feel like if it wasn't doing Ketchikan, if it was doing Skagway, I think I would definitely be on board for it. If you're only going to one port, that would be my port to go to, but Ketchikan's also a lot closer, so I totally get it there. But then they're doing their traditional 7-night cruises that are just like the ones we've been talking about, that hit Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, have the day with the glacier, 2 days at seas, your traditional one, an 8-night Alaskan sailing that includes Sitka, Alaska too, which that's great. It's a
That'd be
place
cool.
I've always wanted to go to. And then a 9-night sailing that includes Icy Strait Point, which I had to read up on this and it includes Victoria too, which I know Jackie's a huge Victoria, British Columbia fan, but I had to look up the Icy Strait Point because I'll be honest, I've never heard of it. And any of the Alaskan cruises I've done, it's never been an option. It's never come up. And I guess what the best way they describe Icy Strait Point is it's kind of like a privately owned island that's like a castaway key for excursions for Alaska. So only one cruise ship can dock there a day. It's not something Disney owns. It's not something cruise ships can park there and you can do all the different excursions they offer, and apparently it's incredible. So I've now added that to also my bucket list. I need to get to Sitka, I need to get to Victoria, I need to get to Icy Strait. If only there was a cruise that was a 9-night sailing on July 7th that does all of that, but I don't think you're getting me a good price on that one, Elaine.
Well, I mean, you just got back from a cruise. Did you book a placeholder?
No, I
So
never
that you
do.
could save
No, I'm off it.
10%?
I never do. I can't commit
Craig.
to that. I cannot commit. Every cruise I go on is going to be my last cruise. I'm getting out of the game.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's talk about placeholders. Let's just interject this real quick because every single cruise release, the same questions come up. So let me just knock out all of your placeholder questions. If you have a placeholder that is currently booked with Disney Cruise Line, a travel agent cannot book this for you. You have to call Disney Cruise Line on the phone to book your cruise. You cannot book your cruise and then call and have it applied. That's not a thing that happens. When you book a placeholder, it is actually a cruise reservation with a reservation number, and it is set far out for a holding date. And then when you convert it to a sailing, all they're doing is modifying that sail date to the one that you're actually going to sail on. So keep that kind of thing in mind. If you have one that you just purchased within the last month, you can transfer that placeholder to a travel agent. If you're planning on booking this release, go ahead and call your travel agent now so that they can go ahead and start the transfer process. Otherwise, you're going to want to, if you want to book on the release, go ahead and call Disney Cruise Line, have it booked, and then transfer it to the travel agent. So now that we're on the other end of that spectrum, a year ago, you sailed, you bought a placeholder, you convert it to a cruise. Can I then transfer it to a travel agent? No, because it still retains that original purchase date that you got it on. 30 days within that, whether it's a placeholder or whether it's converted, cannot be transferred outside of that 30 days. What is a placeholder? Let's talk about that real quick for our people that have never bought one before or haven't sailed before. When you are on a Disney cruise, before you disembark, not that last day, make sure you get it at least the day before. You cannot get it as you're walking off the ship. You cannot get it when you've gotten home. It is $250. You can purchase it right through your Disney Cruise Line app. And on your next sailing that you book within 2 years, you save 10% of the cruise. That $250 actually comes off the price of your deposit and gets applied there. And if you have a sailing that's 7 nights or more, you actually pay a reduced deposit, so you aren't paying as much up front. There's blackout dates, there's no discount on concierge rooms, all of that fun stuff. But in general, it is a great deal. At any time, you can cancel it, get it refunded. If you go those 2 years and you don't end up sailing and it auto cancels, you still get it refunded. So there is no risk to getting a placeholder.
With the European cruises, we have a whole variety of Mediterranean cruises on the Disney Fantasy and all sorts of nights, whether it's 5-night sailing, lots of 7-night sailings, some including the Greek Isles, some just around Italy and throwing in a little bit of France. You have a 9-night Mediterranean with Greek Isles. That's a big one. A 12-night Mediterranean one with Greek Isles, 4 days at sea. you're gonna get lost at sea with that many days. Northern European cruises as well too, going up into Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, an 8-night Norwegian fjords cruise. That's always going to be a dream for me. One day I will get to the fjords with Anna and Elsa, and we will sing and troll and dance around. Then more sailings for Western Europe cities, including Belgium, Spain, Portugal thrown in there too, British Isles cruise, and like we already mentioned, the transatlantic one. These are always going to be on my bucket list. I think for me, the hardest part would be deciding what to do. Like, I could at least mark off Italy since I've already sailed all the way around Italy, but I look at it and I'm like, it's a toss up for me. Do I want to do a British Isles cruise one day? Do I want to do a Greek Isles cruise one day? I feel like, and obviously the Norwegian fjords, I feel like the colder destinations call to me, but everything I hear, that's just Greek Isles are so beautiful. So it's a tough one. What would you do, Jackie, with European cruises?
So for European cruises, my family is from Turkey and Greece, and I want to go on any cruise that includes Turkey and Greece, and I would be the happiest of campers. So I want to see that. I want to see that country. I want to go there. I just want to, it's something that, so my grandma, when I was 13, she took me to Hungary, to Budapest, and she grew up there. And so that was really cool to be there with her and to see that. But, I want to go to Turkey, and I want to go to Greece.
Well, I guess you're stuck going on a Greek Isles cruise then, since that's what's going to get you there. But if you want to see Turkey, they always are running throughout my neighborhood too, so you can always see turkeys there. Elaine, yes. I've got a double question for you, because of course I want to know of the European cruises what calls to you the most, but then also too I want to get some insight from you. What's generally the most popular cruise that people select when it comes to the European cruises? I know there's so many, it's hard to whittle it down, but what do people actually commit to going on?
So a lot of people, I'm going to have the list in front of me. A lot of people do the Greek Isles. That is a big one. There are people like the Norwegian fjords ones. And then whenever they do like the British Isles, they really like that as well. It's just, that seems to be where it's at, is those ones. And it's the Greek Isles for me. Like, that's what I want. Like, as cheesy as it sounds, I put it on my vision board this year. Like, have a little picture of the Greek Isles, because I do want to make that a goal. I do want to go there, one way or another. So it is on my list that I want to do that. So.
We will try to find a way to do that. It probably won't be on DCL, but we'll find whatever the budget cruise line is. We'll do it on that. We branch out a little bit and just get whatever it can to take us there.
I already know, because I want to do Virgin Voyages. So.
Oh, I didn't realize Virgin was doing Greek Isles cruises. I don't pay attention to a lot of the other ships, so interesting.
My husband says that the souvlaki over in Greece is worth it all on its own. So he spent 18 months over there when he was in the Army, and he had he lived in a top floor thing where they had bakeries right down below where he lived. And anyway, so getting off the ships there and getting all the things that they make fresh. Oh my gosh. What a concept, getting off the ship at ports.
Yeah, well. Every port, but Caribbean and Bahamas. So that's for me. But so then to kind of recap and work our way back around to those domestic cruises, I just want to explain once again, and Elaine will back me up on this, that if your dream is to go to Lookout Key this year, then you're not going to be doing it really on the Wish and the Treasure. That's the other ships that are going to be taking you to Lookout Key. And for Castaway Key, You're going to be riding on those new ships, which, I'm sure eventually they'll change things and switch that up. But that's kind of it for right now. And just as a recap on it, Disney Treasure is doing the 7 nights exclusively. And then the Disney Wish is doing the 3 and 4 nights. Elaine, is there anything else people need to know about Caribbean cruises or Bahamian cruises right now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's following the pattern. The Dream and the Fantasy are sister ships, and so the Wish and the Treasure are just replacing the Dream and the Fantasy. They are doing exactly what they've been doing. There's so many people that are complaining that the Treasure is only doing 7 nights. Well, that's what the Fantasy did. It only did 7 nights. And look at where we are now, that the Fantasy is at the beginning of 2025. They're doing a whole bunch of 4 and 5 night sailings all over the place. And then, as we've seen, then next year it's going to Europe. And the Dream is down in Fort Lauderdale doing 5 night sailings. So things will change. This is just what we're doing right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting to think, too, that, that's 2025. So the Disney Treasure is getting delivered in 2024. Do we think that the next ship, the third and final ship in that Wish fleet, we think that's actually gonna come sooner than later? I mean, I feel like it will eventually. So obviously not for this release. That's why it's not on there. But do we think that's still going to be running on time, or they're going to take a little bit more time with it? I feel like they're going to rush it because cruise is one of the things working the best right now, and they've made that very clear.
That is a good point. I mean, we are seeing it at Dreams Unlimited Travel that everybody is booking cruises. The cruises are sold out. I mean, there are cruises for fall, winter, springtime next year that availability is very hard. That's just, this is what people are booking right now. And so that is a good point, that they were going to want to get it out as soon as possible to continue that. I don't know, because we just haven't heard anything. Usually they start showing pictures as they're building it, and pieces are getting put together as far as all of that, but we just haven't seen anything, haven't heard anything. So I think it's still going to be a while before we start getting any information.
I want it to come sooner than later. So I'm excited to see what the next theme is. We've talked about it. We've speculated, but I'm ready for more information. I'm already over the Treasure, and we haven't even stepped foot on it. I'm ready for the next best thing.
I'm excited for the Treasure, because the whole thing is my jam. I'm all in on that.
I'm just ready for the next 100%. Thing. So look at me. I'm wearing Moana stuff right now. I'm treasuring right now.
I'm not Moana. I'm Stitch.
I almost went Stitch today, and I was like, you know what? Moana feels a little bit more cruisy wise, so that's why I went with that. But okay, I am trying to rack my brain here to think if there's anything we missed. I'll open the floor if anyone has any last second things to say, but I do want us to finish with Elaine stressing one more time how important it is to book early. So before we get to that, Jackie, any last thoughts?
I don't have any on this. Just other than I was really wanting them to add Seattle back as a port, and they did not. So I'm sad about that, and I hope that they consider adding it back someday.
Keep writing letters, and eventually Bob Iger will listen, or whoever the next CEO is. Okay, Elaine.
Maybe that's where they're going to put the Imagine. It's going to be out of Seattle.
Maybe.
I mean, they need to do that.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Elaine, do you want to take us home here?
What's the question? I forgot. I was listening to Jackie.
Do you want to stress? Do you have any last minute things to say? And then will you stress how important it is to book early?
Well, believe it or not, it's very important to book early. I don't know if we've mentioned that at all, but it is very important to book early. Here's the reason why. We've said it before. We'll say it again. When the cruise comes out, that is the drop dead low rate. Then, as the ship fills, the pricing goes up. As categories fills, those category pricing goes up. So if you know when you want to sail, book it. because your deposit is fully refundable unless you're booking concierge. Your deposit is fully refundable up until your final payment date. Final payment date is generally 90 or 120 days out, depends on the length of the cruise. And so, especially if you're very particular about where you want your stateroom on the ship, that kind of thing. That is a big thing. If you have several staterooms traveling together and you want to make sure that you're next to each other, the earlier the book, the easier it is to do those kind of things. So it is very good. And like I said, as you book, the price is going to go up, so might as well just lock it in now. Book through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It's the same as booking through Disney Cruise Line. You don't have to get up early. You don't have to call Disney Cruise Line. And we give you free money to do it. So,
yep. That's a great point. If you book with Dreams Unlimited Travel, you get Shipboard Credit based on the price of your stateroom. And that is literally, you walk on and it's free money that you can do whatever you want with it. You can take it to the bar. You can take it to the gift shop. However you want to spend it, it's there for you to spend. And of course, you also, is it just for United States, or is it for just
everybody,
for the gift basket?
Yep. Everybody gets Shipboard Credit, and no matter where you reside or where the sailing goes, and it's the same amounts.
Yeah.
Depending on all of that. It's all the same. It's all just based on the cost of your cruise in US dollars. So.
But for the gift baskets that they also get with it, that's for the United States.
Yeah, we are not able to ship those overseas. I know. I'm not going to say whether we can ship it to Canada or not, because I feel like sometimes we can and sometimes we can't. So I'm not going to answer that question. But if you reside out of the United States and we are not able to send you a gift basket, if you are agent, or if you are a client of Dreams Unlimited Travel, we can hold it for you here. And if you can stop by our Welcome Center, that is located just down the road from Port Canaveral, and we will hand you your welcome basket in person. So.
Yep. And then you get the pleasure of potentially seeing Teresa Eccles, unless she happens to be out at our show or doing a dining review with us. But typically, if a Disney ship is at Port Canaveral, Teresa will always be there, just in case people want to stop by and say hi. So, get excited, get with your agent now, and start working on figuring out which one of these summer 2025 Disney Cruise Line cruises you want to go on. So, Jackie and Elaine, thank you so much for sitting here and having this little conversation with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone at home, for listening and watching. We truly appreciate it. And if you want to support us, the best way to do so is by booking a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. So if you're interested in any of these cruises, vacation to Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney, a different cruise line perhaps, even, head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today, and you can get a free no obligation quote for your next magical vacation. And if you want to support us even more and get exclusive content, again, that's patreon.com/disunlimited. If you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave us comments, questions, and video suggestions in the comment section. And if you are listening to this, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us ratings and reviews when possible. But that's going to do it for this week's sailing of the DCL show. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time we set sail with another episode of the DCL show. Just remember, the only way to get to Castaway Cay is by Disney Cruise Line.